Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be an unboxing, as you can probably tell, and it's the newest knife from Jack Wolf Knives. So first of all, please excuse the band-aid on my finger. You'd think it would be from, a knife, but I actually got a new pen today and I was changing the refill and it sliced my finger right where it unscrews. It's actually not the only time that that's happened with a tactile turn pen. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting and worth mentioning. But let's get right into this here. So this is the third release of the Gunslinger Jack, and so this is one of the previous releases. I believe this is from the second release of the Gunslinger Jack. So let's go ahead and open it. Slice that open, and I'm going to open it up off camera real quick here. Get rid of the packing slip, and here it is. Now, I don't know if you can hear, but my dogs are going absolutely crazy above me. So if you hear scuffling, that's my dogs playing. But maybe I guess it's fitting, being that this is a Jack Wolf Knives unboxing. But so this comes in the typical Jack Wolf Knives box, nice embossing, modern interpretation, timeless design. If you haven't read this write-up, I highly recommend you stop the video and read it. It just kind of goes over the background of Jack Wolf Knives. And then as you can see here, this is again the Gunslinger, and this is the ebony wood version. So there are several different versions that Ben is putting out on this run, and a lot of them are really cool. I think that the micarta version, which is a green linen micarta with bronze anodized titanium on the bolsters, is really cool looking. There's a full titanium non-frame lock. It's still an kind of a frame lock. It's an inset frame lock, but it has a titanium cover, so it has a crosshatch pattern, which I think fits the gun stock really well. So a lot of cool options here, but as you can see, the Gunslinger Jack is more of a space cowboy this time around. So his 6-shooter is shooting a laser. So that's pretty cool. And a little bit of a redesign on the tube also. And you can see this art is by Sean Tiffany, and same tube as normal, in England, ebony wood, February 2026. Let's open it up. So you've got your pog with the art, always a nice touch, and the knife in a nice microfiber cloth. I really like these. Obviously they're great for cleaning your knife, but they're also really good for cleaning a computer screen or just being a handkerchief. And you've got 2 stickers, always a great thing because you can put one up. I put them on my safe, and you get to keep one too. But this is the Gunslinger 3.0, kind of a modern gunslinger with this chromed out Jack Wolf Knives logo. And then you also do have a filler tab. So if you can see this here, if you decided to carry this knife without the clip, you would put it right here where that clip sits into the bolster or the end cap. So you do have the option of taking the clip off and carrying this knife just in a slip or in your pocket, and it would work great for that. So let's go ahead and open the knife. Always nice, kind of wrapped up securely and nicely. And here it is. So this is ebony wood. Ebony wood is a very, very traditional knife handle material. So it has been used for 100 years plus, a lot more than 100 years, and is a classic handle material because it's got a beautiful dark color, often has some nice grain, which I hope you can see here on this one, and is also a nice, solid, strong wood. So ebony is a great choice, and particularly I think for a gun stock. So a gun stock is a traditional pattern that's shaped like a rifle stock. So if you look this way here, it's shaped similarly to the stock of a rifle. And it's a really classic traditional pattern. Ben said it is one of the best received or most popular of the models that Jack Wolf Knives does. And he was a little surprised by that because it's maybe, you know, a good bit different than the look of your typical modern knife. But I think that people can really appreciate the blend of traditional and modern here with this. I think that this model in particular does a really good job of looking like a traditional pattern while having the modern features. So what are those? Well, it has a fuller, or what in traditional knives would be called a long pull, on both sides. So you can open it with those. You can middle finger flick, you can slow roll or thumb roll, and then it also has this front flipper. And I've talked about how nice the front flippers are on these Jack Wolf knives. I think that they're the best front flippers probably that I'm aware of. I didn't like front flippers before I started, you know, getting to check these out, and now I do appreciate them. But opens one-handed very smoothly and super smooth closing, has ball bearings and locks, as you see, so that's another modern feature. It does have a lock bar insert, and then it has a pocket clip. So, you know, modern features, and that's in addition to the screw construction, which the Jack Wolf knives that are slip joints also have. But very classic looking, despite those modern, or maybe in spite of those modern features. Now, one thing that differentiates this 3.0 from the previous models, previous runs, I guess you could say, of the Gunslinger, is this pivot collar. So you can see it's not on the back side here, but this pivot collar, there's different colored pivot collars on the different versions. So this one is polished, which goes along with the screws, the clip, and the back spacer. And I think it's a really, really classy look. You can see that the blade has kind of a hand satin there, and it's actually a similar overall kind of build, you might say, or variation as this one that I have. So the difference really being the pivot collar, and obviously the wood. This is ironwood versus ebony wood. But other than those differences, you know, relatively similar in the setup. So it's another opportunity at, I think, probably one of the classiest Jack Wolf knives models. So let's see if there's any blade play. No side-to-side blade play when unlocked. No forward and back when locked. I don't see any gaps at all at first look. And again, nice and smooth, well centered. The grind looks incredible as usual. Looks really thin, actually. Let me take a look here. The grind on this one, at least, you know, right here at the heel, at the sharpening choil, is thinner than on this one. So I mean, I can't wait to see how this knife cuts. It's going to cut super well. Let's see here. I noticed that here there's a little teeny tiny bit of separation between the clip and the wood, and honestly for me it's not at all a problem. It's just something I noticed, that sound. Maybe there is on this one too. No, there's not. But I don't think I can see the separation. You can take a look yourself. Maybe now you can hear my son yelling upstairs. I think I probably better get back up there. But yeah, so a beautiful knife. Can't wait to put this one in my pocket, carry and use it. I think it makes sense to me that this is one of the most popular models that Jack Wolf Knives has, and feels great in the hand, easy to use. Really, I really like the way these feel, how the ergonomics are. You could probably take this off and bend it too, like if that's something that you're concerned about, but I probably wouldn't go through the hassle of it, to be completely honest. But you know, you can take these ones apart. They don't recommend taking the slip joint ones apart, but these you can take apart and put back together, which I've done. And it's not, you know, any more difficult than most modern frame locks. But another really cool release from Jack Wolf Knives, the third release of the Gunslinger. So these will be available on February 26th. So make sure you check out the links in my description. You can get them at a bunch of dealers, but I always recommend Traditional Pocket Knives or Knife Ship Free. Those are two great places to buy knives in general, but also Jack Wolf Knives. I want to say thank you, as always, to Ben for setting this knife for me to check out. I am hoping to do a full review also, but I haven't had as much time to film videos recently, so I wanted to at least get an unboxing. So if you enjoy this type of video, if you are interested in other Jack Wolf Knives videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and select all so you can see when I post those new videos, and check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.